Alright guys and girls, this is Bagofsoup coming at you with a special game mode today. If you're in the hangar with the special test server going on this week and you hit the red to battle button, you now get a new choice. You can play the original version of the game on the left, the domination mode, where you're just spawning in at your home base and trying to control beacons in the energy bar, or the beacon rush mode on the right, where you can actually spawn in at any captured beacon that your team has. So instead of doing live commentary today, I've actually am recording post-game commentary because I want to give you my thoughts about the mode, and it's a little easier to do so when you're not in the heat of battle, because this mode is really fun, but it changes up a lot of game strategy. Number one, if you look at my hangar here, I don't have a lot of mid-range support or long-range bots because the idea is to get in close, capture beacons, and then you can start right out at any captured beacon that your team has. This is a battle we did on Power Plant that was pretty wild and woolly. And once again, a couple of the things to keep in mind is not everyone on the test server is a great player, so you're going to see all kinds of tactics and strategy, but it may end up being a little different than in the actual live server. And number two, we also have the new user interface here that we were testing out as well. I think they keep making great improvements to it, and it's getting there. We're getting a lot closer. Of course, I'm taking this guy out around the corner because he isn't watching real close for who's firing. But in this new game meta with all the rockets lately, I think the jumping bots are really good. I would take the Rog and Griffin right now over the Gareth and Galahad. Of course, things can change, but I've got this Rog in as my kind of beacon runner. And this beacon rush mode really adds in the idea of getting back in and capturing beacons quick to give your team a foothold. I got in a little too close, and if you notice, that dock spawned in on their beacon there. So what's cool is I was able to hit my menu button when my bot died, and I was able to select one of the beacons that our team controlled, then select the bot I wanted, and drop right into that captured beacon. I also want to show you the Punishers. This test server this week has the latest game update changes with the weapons rebalance in there, including the firearms buff. And as you can tell, I'm shredding some of these guys with my Griffin Punishers. I'm upgrading this setup right now in my live hangar, and it's already actually doing pretty decent. But this is a Carnage Thunder coming up the hill, and I want you to see what I do to him. Keep in mind, with this test server, the last couple weeks, you can't see the enemy Ansel shield. Energy bar, which is a huge problem. Now you can see when you're hitting the Ansel, but you've got no idea how much is left in that Ansel. You only know that when it stops flashing, you've gotten through the Ansel shield. But watch me shred this Carnage. I'm jumping back out of the way to keep my distance from his Thunders, but I've just shredded through his Ansel and his energy bar with the clip to spare there. So this setup's pretty great. It's longer range than close range rockets and plasma. It's close to mid-range splash, and of course the Griffin can help jump away if you get caught by rockets. But the huge damage this setup does, plus the extra long clip in the acceleration mode, and the physical shield damage now that they're adding in, is a huge difference. Watch me. Even you can hit jumping bots as long as they're coming straight at you. It's a little easier. But just shredded that Griffin as he came at me once again with this setup. So right now we've got most of the beacons, and we're going to show you in just a moment here what happens when we die and we get to spawn in at any captured beacon. We got hit by aphids there, so I hit the menu map. You can see the captured beacons. I'm going to choose the one on the bottom, the E beacon. Now, of course, you get a little disoriented because you don't know which way you've turned in. There was a guy heading towards me on that map indicator, but I got turned around. Of course, this is the beauty of it. He's got a pattern, and I can jump right in with my Lancelot with Thunder Orkin and not have to walk all the way across the map. And I was able to take him out before he could get to our captured beacon. So not only does it save time for your heavy knife fighter bots to get in the action faster, but it also allows you to defend a beacon if you see the enemy coming towards it on that map. You may not know who it is, what kind of setup, but if you've got a close-range knife fighter and you jump in, odds are if you can face him, you'll probably beat him. Now here I got a little overzealous jumping right into these two bots here, so that was an issue. But watch once again, I'll hit the menu button. I can see what beacon's closest to the enemy, I can jump right in, and I'm thinking I'm not going to go this way because that guy's way too far around the map. This is where all the action is. The enemy can only spawn in right now at the C beacon and their home spawn point, and that's it. So they've kind of got to decide what they're going to do to defend that beacon or to defend their base. And it's just, you can tell how much action we've seen in 5 minutes already. So this mode is just wild and woolly, and you never know what's going to happen with it. We'll also talk about some of the bots that may be more effective in a mode like this. Like I said, this really changes the game up. If you like beacon runners and if you like knife fighters, this mode will be for you. Because you can spawn in at any beacon, you can kind of avoid the long walk through sniper fire and mid-range splash and get right up close in the action. So you're probably going to want to choose a beacon runner or two, but you also want some thunder bots to get in there for maximum damage or to take down Ansel shields. You'll want Orkans and up-close rockets. Maybe the jump ability if you need it to jump in and out. So I think the Griffins will be big right now. I think the Lancelots will still be big right now because of this mode. And of course, jumping Rogs will be great. You can get into beacons with Stalkers as well. Any big hitters. I've seen some Fury Thunders out there jumping in, so it's been real fun. So that was just a quick match. That was over quick because we dominated most of the map and could spawn in right near their home beacon. So now I'm going to show you a couple other matches. This is the hangar, of course, I was running there. And you can see this is not my normal hangar. A totally different mode requires a different hangar. A lot of Orkans and a lot of close-range knife fighters here. So we're going to jump into a second match, this time on Moon. And what I want to show you here is in this new beacon mode how fast the tide can change in a map. From one side controlling all the beacons to the other side. In addition, I want to show you what happens when your spawn point gets overrated or overwhelmed and you need to choose kind of a new location. You can almost relocate your base with this beacon rush mode because you can go spawn in at any captured beacon. So first things first, I'm going to try to use my ROG to get across the map to the enemy side of the base and capture that beacon. You'll probably see a lot of that in this new mode, is Stalkers and Rogs and fast-moving bots trying to get across to capture the enemy side of beacons so your big knife fighters and brawlers can get in there. So we've got a little ROG versus ROG action, and of course here it's just whoever can position themselves better or time their jumps better to take out the other guy. I'm watching this guy and waiting for him to land so I can land my shots in on him. And every time we jump, I save my Orkans until the other guy lands, and then I can give him the full brunt of the shots here. Thankfully, I got that Leo coming in to help save the day. We're going to capture this beacon on the enemy side of the base here, and that means we'll be able to spawn right in near them. I was going to head this way, but then I decided I want to help that Leo. Looks like he's being hit by a Tempest bot over there, and so I'm going to jump up for cover, kind of wait for him to round the corner, and then I see that other beacon near the enemy spawn point. So I'm going to come down here and grab that, and then of course that means that we can really deploy in close and get a better shot at the enemy here. So I'm kind of sneaking in while they're all fighting our other guys over at our base. And once I capture this beacon, once again, I can come back and help my guys out here. Like I said, I've really been enjoying the ROG since the new update changes. If no one's firing at you, you can really sneak up on some guys. So we're recapturing back our home beacon there, fending off the enemy. One thing in this mode that I noticed is if you try to recapture a beacon but it's still red, even if you're in the process of recapturing it, the enemy can still spawn in. Like right now, an enemy can spawn in right at that spot. So I've got to be real careful not to get hit from the side if someone just jumps in right now, even while I'm trying to recapture it. You've got to kind of watch in a 360 and watch for the little red arrows around you just in case. So as you can see here, I want to show you how we're controlling most of the map here. We've got 4 beacons, and they can only spawn in at the center beacon, C, and at their home base, their spawn point. But I want to show you in just a moment how fast this match can change around because of that. So we've got a good foothold on them. And look at this Fury Thunder that just dropped in at center beacon and totally decimated my bot. So I can jump into any beacon. I'm watching the red arrows, and I saw a slow bot running towards or walking towards our beacon, was able to drop in with a knife fighter and cut him off and take him out before he got that beacon. So once again, this really changes the dynamic of the game. Once again, you saw how we had 4 of the 5 beacons. And now I want you to see how we start to take over their spawn point here. We're hitting them right at spawn point. We've got several big hitters right here. Normally in a game, it would be over. I mean, these guys wouldn't have a chance, and we could just control this position with all of our knife fighters. But what you're going to start to see over on my left here is at Beacon D, the enemy's going to start to spawn in there all together because there's always safety in numbers. They're going to kind of make that an alternate home spawn point, if you will, and kind of try to regroup. And it's going to be devastating for our team, where we were winning completely. 4 or 5 beacons, had the energy bar, had them at spawn point. They're now dropping in at this new spot. There's an Ansel shield bot trying to protect them. Now, we're still doing great, but now they've got a center beacon and Beacon D here, so they've got 3 places they can spawn in. And so, like I said, we're going to try to snuff out this second spawn point, basically, the second home base they've got. And then, like I said, do you see how that guy just came in? For better or worse, you got to know what's around you when you jump in like that. But look at the beacons start to change here. They've now got center beacon, D, and B. Even as we try to recapture this one back, I'm being shot from behind as guys are coming from the enemy home base and recapturing their beacons. And now look, we went from having 4 of the 5 beacons captured to only down to our spawn point. And that's it. We recaptured D, but that's all I could spawn in. When I came back in was the home spawn base. So what a change. We had them down at their spawn point, and they were able to make an alternate home base at Beacon D earlier. And now all we have is the choice of home spawn, and now we've lost Beacon D as well. So this really changes the dynamics of the map here. Once again, you're going to see lots of beacon runners, lots of brawlers. I think the Ancelot is still good, but keep in mind with this kind of close range fighting, like right now I could jump in from a beacon and jump right into an Ancelot shield. So you're going to have to be real careful when running the Ancelot because you can't keep your distance as easily on certain maps. So we're dying here. We're trying to recapture beacons A and B at our home base and see if we can get back into the fight. Now right here, if you look at that beacon in front of me, we can spawn in right there and try to get back to center to recap it. But this is kind of winding down here. The big deal, like I said, is I wanted to show you how fast a match can turn around, and if your spawn point gets overwhelmed, how you can set up an alternate home base, a mobile site if you need to regroup your team and get back into the fight. That just allows a lot more options than before. So anyway, that was it for this match. We did pretty well, but once again, it was amazing. We thought we had that match won, and the red team turned the tables on us, which was pretty good. So I did 6 kills, 5 beacons, good damage, but not quite enough. But it was definitely a fun match. That thing was back and forth, a lot of close-in action, which was really cool. So we're going to jump in with one more match here, and we're going to jump in back to Power Plant, and this will be one of those ones that's just wild and really fun as well for you to check out. While we're waiting to drop in that match, just a side note, I was on Canyon earlier playing, and we were able to capture Center Beacon, and I was far off using a Griffin Punishers and got killed, and I was able to spawn right into Center Beacon on Canyon with my Lance Thunder Orkans because some guys were heading to Center Beacon to capture it, and I was able to decimate them and take them out and stay in my Lance Thunder Orkan the rest of the match to win. And I didn't have to make the long walk across the map to get to center, and I didn't have to worry about dodging or wading through mid-range splash weapons with my vulnerable Lance to get there. I could spawn in right to cover and take out the guys right away. So that was a really cool deal, even on the long maps. So we're back here on Power Plant. This will be our final match, And we're going to once again jump in with our ROG and try to capture some beacons early. I had some good gameplay with my ROG this week. Once again, I love that quick jump to evade enemy rockets. You're seeing lots of splash damage right now. And I like the Orkans on there because if I get too close to a guy, I can try to decimate him around a corner and preserve my bot health if possible. So we're going to go ahead and capture a couple beacons to start with, and those can be new spots that we can spawn into if needed. And we'll watch what the enemy does here. And they've grabbed their home beacon also, so now we've got each got 2 or 3 spots we can spawn in with. And I'm just kind of watching which side to hang out on here. I saw several docks, and the dock is cool, but what I love about the ROG is it's got the jump back. I can jump right back out of that dock range and be able to take him out without hardly taking a scratch, which is real helpful. So we got that guy taken out. Just another benefit to the ROG right now. And I think we got another dock that's going to come around the corner unsuspecting. It's Orkan versus Orkan, but once again, he's looking at my teammate. So I'm able to take some shots in on him, and if he turns my way, once again, I can just jump out of danger and get to safety and charge up my Orkans. So definitely a great map to have. Moon Map, Dead City, and Power Plant are just great for the ROG. So right now it's 2 versus 2 on beacons, and you can see that Punisher Griffin trying to close in on our home beacon there. So I'm going to use my jump to kind of get closer in range and just do an ambush. Take a bunch of shots into him before he can hit back. But those Punisher Griffins are very deadly. Now look, they've taken our home beacon over, and you saw that Ancelot spawn right into home beacon. So we've lost literally our home beacon, and they are almost at our spawn point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flank these guys in my ROG and try to capture another beacon to set up an alternate spawn point in, so we're not facing all this heavy lance fire when we spawn in. Now I have to watch that beacon careful right in front of me, because a guy could spawn in right as I'm coming to recapture it. I gotta watch this Griffin. Thank goodness I have the quicker jump than him to get out of the way of fire. So once again, the Griffin may have more firepower, but the ROG just has that quick evasive jump. So we're, you can tell now we were defending our spawn point, and now we're almost up 4 beacons that quickly. So these matches are fun, they're crazy, and a lot can happen in just a few moments. I would say too, beacon rush mode is so different. I think that there's a lot of strategies that players in clans haven't even figured out yet. We've only been testing it, a couple of days here, so there's a lot of ideas that you can do. You would think you just want to go capture all the beacons and get a dominance. But a couple other players have already stated on the internet that another idea, let's say you're on Yamantau, you could let the enemy capture center beacon, but then you position your team on either side of the bridge and create firing choke points down on that center beacon if they try to spawn in there, thinking they've got a good position. So it doesn't mean that you always have to capture all the beacons. You've just got to learn how to position yourself really well. And so, like I said, you're not seeing a ton of snipers in this mode because you can cut those snipers off at any beacon you can jump into. So we got taken out pretty quick here. I'm going to jump back in. You see that red triangle going towards beacon D? That's our home beacon right here. I'm able to jump right in with my Thunder Orkan Lance and just decimate him. I knew who he was. I knew it was a Plasma Griffin. So I had the advantage there in choosing what bot I wanted and being able to take him out. So we've got a decent control of the map, 3 versus 2 beacons, and we are, but see, once again, I got taken out from the side here by a guy that just spawned in with his Death Button Griffin on that side beacon. I had no idea he was there. And those little arrows, by the time that little arrow appears saying there's an enemy to the right, you're already taken out. So once again, you've got to watch real careful. You're going to see a lot of ambushing on this map. So I'm going to jump into the closest beacon to the enemy. I still maintain one of the biggest problems is not knowing which way you're facing when you're jumping into a beacon. I'm always facing the wrong direction. But check out how fast I killed that Death Button Griffin with my Punishers. these things are deadly close up and far away, as long as you're leading your target well. So definitely watch this setup in the next few weeks. Apple's going to get the update this coming week with the Punisher and Molot buff. Not only do they do more damage, but they do more damage to physical shields, like Gareth's, Galahad's, Lances, and Rhinos, Raigens, things like that. So that's going to be much needed. Beforehand, you know, the problem with firearms is they couldn't do really well against Ansel or physical shields. Now they can do both. So, man, I'm getting ambushed once again. A lot of jumping griffins coming from anywhere on this map. But that was it. That was a pretty quick battle. You can watch me jump in to Beacon E here because I see the enemy coming right in, and we're able just to engage them right away. So you notice a bunch of these matches ended in just 5 or 6 minutes. They go quick. Some of you may like that, some of you may not. You may like the big beacon changes back and forth, but I think a lot of this is because it's the test server. It's also a new mode, and so only time is going to tell what kind of strategies come out of this new tactics. Number one, it's going to be what you're running in your hangar. Number two, it's going to be how you work together with your random solos or as a team. And number three, it's going to be what beacons you decide to capture and what beacons you decide to deploy in. Whether they're trying to take out your home spawn point and you got to set up a second headquarters, or you let them capture beacon because you can focus fire in on where they're coming in. So lots of different things to check out. That was our look at Beacon Rush mode. It's on the test server this week. I hope you liked the video. Please click like if you did. If you have any comments or questions, let us know in the section below. And I hope you're a subscriber to the channel. That's it. I hope you have a great War Robots day.